with the negative feedback that you did receive, how did you handle it?
Ooh, do I have a story for you?
Okay, I'm ready.
I was in my attorney's office and there was this 63-year-old lady. She had red hair. She
Mhm.
said to my husband, "Can you excuse yourself?" He's like, "Okay."
Mhm.
And she says,
Hello, beautiful butterfly, and welcome back to Naturally Graceful. If this is your first time, I'm Nina, and I told you guys about a feature that I'm doing each month where I'm interviewing a lovely silver sister who tells us about her gray hair journey, tips, advice. So I'm going to let her introduce herself, and then we'll get into the interview.
"Hello, everyone. I am Traci Byerly, and yes, I am unapologetically gray. I'm so happy to be here with you, Nina. It's an honor."
Yes, it's so nice to have you. Saying where you're from.
Oh, Fort Worth, Texas.
Okay, Fort Worth, Texas. Yes, because I love that accent that you have. Just that southern warmth that comes into your accent.
Thank you.
Okay, so our first question is, when did you notice your grays coming in?
I started graying at the age of 18,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just a few here and there, but my family are premature graying people.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to explode at the age of 43 and beyond. It just seemed like overnight.
I think it's so important to educate people. A lot of comments that I got is, you're too young to have all that gray. But not a lot of people understand that, especially like you said, if there's a genetic disposition to prematurely gray, a lot of people gray in their teens. So I'm glad
Yes.
you mentioned that. So it came in at 18. Did it come in like salt and pepper strands or on your hairline? How did it come in?
All over.
Okay.
It was just popping up all over.
Really?
It seemed like by the time I approached my late 30s,
Mm-hmm.
people were really noticing.
So, what helped you make the decision to stop dyeing your hair?
Actually, I tried dyeing my hair one time, and it was my late 30s. It had to be. It was so long ago.
Mm-hmm.
But what made me decide not to do it again
Mm-hmm.
is number one, my hair grew back in about 2 to 3 weeks. And number two, that's expensive.
It is.
I had to choose between living and looks. And oh, it was even worse when I started not to use relaxers. Oh my goodness.
Mm, yeah. So which did you do first?
I tried the dye one time in my late 30s, and actually it was 2013, I think.
Okay.
2013 or 14 when I stopped the relaxers, and oh, I really heard a whole lot of chatter then.
It's amazing how I feel this gray hair journey, we're helping to normalize it. So then when your hair was coming in at 18, you didn't dye, you just let it come in? That's
Let it
awesome.
come in.
And this is why I love getting to interview different people, because everybody's experience is different. So I think that's awesome. Did you receive support for your decision?
Let's put it this way. If my family was on board, they didn't really say anything. Everybody else, oh my gosh, no. It was crazy. I guess I must have talked to her any kind of way we want to, because by nature I'm very soft spoken and very loved ones. You're too young for all that gray hair.
Mm-hmm.
Would you just dye your hair? You know, you would look so much more prettier, so much more younger, blah, blah, blah. If you would just dye your hair, Nina, I would have people standing in line to me at the store, strangers. You don't look like you're old enough to have all that gray hair.
Right, right.
No, I'm not. Why don't you dye your hair? Why should I have to dye my hair? I mean, these are the monologues that I would have with
Wow, wow.
in the store. As a matter of fact, I had someone that wanted me to be a host on his little show that he was having. He said, "Look, Holmes, you're going to have to dye that hair." I refused.
You're like, well, then I guess I'm not going to be on your show then. But that must have been hard to have, like you said, people who you don't even know give unsolicited comments. With the negative feedback that you did receive, how did you handle it?
Who do I have a story for you?
Okay, I'm ready.
I was in my attorney's office and there was this 63-year-old lady. She had red hair. She said to my husband, "Can you excuse yourself?" He's like, "Okay." And she says, "You look too young to have all that gray hair." I said, "Mm-hmm." "You're okay with that?" "Yeah." "Why don't you dye your hair?" "My daughter-in-law, she owns a salon. Here, let me get you the number." "No, that's okay. But you're too young for all that gray hair. Why don't you dye your hair?" "Because I don't want to. I'm happy with my gray hair." "Well, does your husband like that gray hair?" "Yes, that's why he married me." "Ma'am, you know what? You have a good day." And I turned around and I left her. I just walked out. But for somebody like me who has always been a people pleaser, always to be accepted, I was proud that day.
Yes, you were. You were unapologetic.
Very unapologetic. And that's how I developed my unapologetic toolkit. I did journaling to decide who was going to get my energy, number one. I started rehearsing my next line of what I was going to say, responses or powerful questions to shut people down. So had pick-me-ups and activities that I could do whenever I'm feeling low. Tip: if you create an unapologetic toolkit, make sure that it brings you positivity and confidence. It should not bring you feeling vindictive,
Right,
or defensiveness.
I love it. I love it. So this is an example of how you take your lemon and you make lemonade. You used it as an opportunity for growth, and you were able to come up with a kit, which I think is awesome, and then use your experience to help others. Because like I said, not everybody has a smooth transition. Just the journey itself can be difficult, but then when you have others, I mean, there's unsolicited comments, and then there's just like, wow, does your but how did your husband feel? So when you met your husband, you had gray hair already? Well, obviously,
Yes.
yeah. If you do, that's
Yes.
awesome. And that could be for those out there who think, oh, maybe they're single and they don't think that they'll be attractive, or you're an example of, your husband that did not bother him.
No, that was one of the reasons why he was attracted to me. And if I could say something to the single
Sure,
people,
sure.
self-love, not narcissism.
Mm-hmm.
When you know who you are,
Right.
why you are, you don't buckle. I finally begin to get the confidence and have self-love for me. That's when love
Came to you. Absolutely. I believe
found.
that. And it's also because you were showing your authenticity. You were authentic in who you were. And it's so true that that's attractive. You can, and this is not to say for some who feel insecure, who aren't at that point that you can't work through it, but that is what is attractive. Not your hair color, not your skin color, who you are on the inside that shines is what will attract people to you. So I love that, love that. What emotions, if any, came up for you during your hair journey?
Ooh, crushed feelings, frustration, to straight up rebellion. There was one time I was in the mirror. My feelings were hurt because once again, somebody said
Said
something
something.
about my gray hair. And I was doing my hair and it's like, you know what? This is me. And God forbid something happened and my hair, we can't afford it or whatever. This is what a man is going to be waking up to every morning. So see me as I am. And from that day on, that was it. I started not caring. But that's when I began to see it, and I'm sure y'all can see the shirt.
Yes.
My gray hair is my tiara. And that's where healing, because I began to love the inside of me, forget all of this out here, because as you said, Your authenticity, your beauty comes from within.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't see and treat yourself beautifully, you
Mm-hmm.
teach other people how to treat you. So
Mm.
how to value me, not
Mm-hmm.
just the outside, but the inside, the whole package.
Is that something that you worked on before you met your hubby, or
Yes,
something that, okay, because that
yes,
is also another beautiful thing, because there are many women who are already in a marriage or a committed relationship where they want to make that decision and they're nervous about how their partner is going to feel, but when you, with any decision, when you feel good about it on the inside, that does help others to be more supportive. I mean, it didn't stop people who weren't supportive from saying certain things, but you show that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when you are okay, when you feel content, when you're secure and grounded. And this is where my compassionate talk comes in. It's not to say that it's not going to sting, or you're not going to be like taken aback, but it's not going to throw you off track. It's not going to take you away from what your truth is, or what you know
exactly.
about yourself. What was the hardest part for you?
I think the hardest part was getting over, like you said, the stings.
Yeah.
Loved ones that knew that I couldn't afford to get my hair done at that time,
Right.
and the coming out. You know,
Mm.
I want to be authentic. I want to embrace my natural self. I'm tired of jumping through hoops to please people. I want to love myself first. That was the hardest part.
Mm.
But once I started steamrolling,
Mm-hmm.
apologetically,
Yes.
learning myself, yeah, it took probably a good maybe 3 years. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying it happened overnight. Oh my gosh,
Right.
no. I think it took me 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
or I didn't care.
Yeah, I love that. And um, I've talked about that before, that the not caring, because I'm similar to you. I'm a recovering people pleaser. It's easy to worry about what other people think. And I want us to not beat ourselves up for that, because that's a good thing that you want those you love to be supportive to you. And it is normal for something to sting you. So while allowing space for those things, what we don't want is to be consumed by that and then absorbing what other people are projecting to us. That is where we want to stop that and put that emotional boundary. So I just love how you're expressing yourself, and you can just see, I don't see that person that was before. I see what that gray has brought out in you, and it's so lovely. um,
Thank you.
so what part of the journey with your gray coming in did you feel like, I'm happy I didn't dye my hair again, I'm happy I let it come in as it is?
I would say after that moment in the mirror
Mm-hmm.
and finally getting some backbone,
Yeah.
and at that point, the confidence arose.
Mm-hmm.
Now I am getting so many compliments. Oh my goodness. As far as the negative remarks, I think that woman is the most. I'd have family members tease me,
Mm-hmm.
well, I'm going to hog tie you and dye your hair. But family members, okay?
It really shows about what we said, that it's inside. It's almost as if the moment you got grounded and you
Yes.
felt, you more of those comments came to you. It doesn't mean that there's zero, but it didn't come as much because you were. And I found, whether it was going natural, because I did big chops, so that was very vulnerable without my hair and just like feeling exposed. The more I worried about it, the more I was seeing, ooh, well, I wonder what they're thinking, or, oh, I saw that look, or I saw. But once I forgot about it and I started to feel grounded, people would come. I'm sure you've had that happen to you, where people say something to you and you just almost forget, like, because it's so a part of you.
I can relate to that. And that's good that you bring it up, because there's so many women that, and men,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I don't I don't like my gray hair. You may not like your gray hair, but if you stop with the negative thoughts for just a moment,
Mm-hmm.
be surprised at how many people actually like your gray hair, they're probably already telling you they like your hair, but
Mhm.
you can't hear it because
Right,
of the negative chatter that's going on in your head about
right,
negative hair
right.
or
And
your gray hair.
it's so empowering because it shows that when we get this proper mindset and we're seeing these interviews, seeing these women share their journey, be unapologetic about it, look at their hair as a tiara, look at it as something positive, it has a good effect on us. And when we're okay, that's really most of the time when we first start something, we're so outward. What if, and if that, and but when you're okay, like, and you're that anchor, then you can navigate through whatever comes up. And
Yes.
I was going to say something about that lawyer. What's funny about the effect that we have on people, that was how long ago that happened?
Mm, 2000, 2016, 2000.
Okay. What's so interesting, because I've seen this happen, the very people that may come to us, somebody in line, or sometimes it's family members, or maybe people you don't know the impact that you have on them. That soon when they're like, I'm done with this. This is too much money. I can't deal with this. You know what? I remember that person who had that unapologeticness about them, their courage to just be who they were. You know what? Maybe there's something to it. So we don't always need people to verbally affirm us that, oh, it's beautiful. Oh, you're doing the right thing. Just by looking at you or being exposed to that can help them feel comfortable with themselves. So I think it's that's another thing people could keep in mind, that they don't have to worry so much about everybody being on board, because you're a perfect example of people who were not on board with you, and yet
No.
you got through it.
I lived.
You
And I didn't
lived.
go back.
And you got a shirt to tell it. So then, what are the benefits? My favorite part, what are the benefits and qualities that you gained from this journey?
First benefits.
Okay.
Unsolicited senior citizen discounts. I'm 52 and my husband, he's 59. We're
Right.
just like, okay.
Right. Right.
Speaking of him,
Mm-hmm.
you know, again, the whole self-love journey,
Mm-hmm.
the total package.
Mm-hmm.
Love found me and accepted the total package.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in my 20s, late teens, 20s, I wanted to be a model, but due to
Mm-hmm.
standards, I was too short. Here it is
Wow.
in our 50s. We do a lot of stock photography modeling. They
Mm-hmm.
for our gray hair.
Yes, I think I saw you post about that. You put it was in a magazine, was it?
We were on the front cover of a magazine
Yes.
for type something, and
Mm-hmm.
we're all over. We're in the UK, Portugal,
That's awesome.
pictures everywhere.
Right. What advice do you have for someone who's on the fence or someone who's just started their journey?
Oh my goodness. Speaking of benefits,
Mm-hmm.
I had the audacity to write an unapologetic manual.
Yes.
Just use my gray hair story to bring about healing, empowerment, and confidence to those who society says that your looks are undesirable or
Mm-hmm.
cut it. The name of the book is called Unapologetically Gray.
And Lexi, I love this cover. I love it. Look at you. The expression on your face says it
The
all.
reason why Unapologetically Gray was written is because we have got to get past the wrapping paper. So many people pass up a gift, a box, based on how it's wrapped. They don't know who the true gift is. Sometimes the gift doesn't even know who the true gift is. With that being said, there are areas in here to journal.
Mm-hmm.
You can go on your journey to self healing and really discovering you as the gift. I got a revelation when I was writing this, and I talk about it in here. When I was 12 years old, I was unmercifully teased because my mom had put a bad perm on our hair. She didn't know, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Took our hair out, so she had to cut our hair short. At
Mm-hmm.
12, I was this big around, And I was called Baldy Locks and all sorts of other horrible names, teased unmercifully. It damaged my self-esteem at
Mm-hmm.
12.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was having that moment in the mirror, when I was saying, this is me, if something happens, this is what a man is going to wake up to, better he accept me as I am. Of course, y'all, it goes beyond a whole man factor, people factor. But it was then, as I was writing Unapologetically Gray, that I got a revelation. That 43-year-old standing in the mirror at that time was getting justice for the 12-year-old when I was like, this is it. I'm tired of pleasing people.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you have to know who you are as the gift, because this is nothing more than the bow that is with the rest of the package. And if you don't understand your value, people won't understand your value as well. One thing I say, especially to the ladies, because the ladies struggle the most,
Yes.
keep in mind that your gray is your tiara. You are
Mm-hmm.
a queen. You never see a queen with her head held down low.
Mm-hmm.
That tiara that's on your head, no one has one like you. It is uniquely designed just for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're concerned about the style of it, maybe a little bit of custom fitting with a haircut,
Mm-hmm.
but it's yours. Own it, queen. Reign
Mm-hmm.
in your majesty because you earned it.
One of the biggest things I'm noticing with each interview, I take away something. And from this is transformation. I mean, there's an inner transformation, a deeper transformation. You know, I love butterflies and what they represent. And you took me through the caterpillar to like where you are right now, just got your wings out and flying. Because what's nice is we're seeing you on this side of things, but you gave us a picture into that it wasn't always like that. And that with work, because it takes work to and it takes action. Confidence, sometimes we
Yes.
think we have to feel that way first, but you took how you felt, the difficult emotions, and you used that to grow into this self-loving butterfly who is unapologetic and embraces all that she is. And that is such an inspiration for others.
Thank
So I'm
you.
so happy to have been able to interview you. Please check out her book. Where can people get your book?
You can go to unapologeticallygray.com.
Okay, great, great. That is so awesome. And you could also, they could follow you at the same handle on Instagram too, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
unapologetically gray.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Thank you so
Wait,
much.
for those, we got to show the back for
Oh,
those.
yes, that's right. I love it. I love it. Make that statement.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. And please let me know in the comments your main takeaways from this amazing interview. Let me know, are you on a hair journey? Are you thinking about it? And I look forward to seeing you on the next interview.
Taken from Unapologetically Gray, this is the prologue. Hi, love. There is a story behind your distinctive existence. You are chosen to be a wonder. If you do not already know why, you owe it to yourself to learn what makes you so special, because you truly are. You are powerful in your own right, even if you don't feel it, see it, or know it yet. You were designed to silence the foolish talk about whatever makes people feel uncomfortable with you without lifting a finger. You, in your extraordinarily fashioned way, have a divine purpose to be exactly as you are. I hope this book inspires you to find your voice, liberty, protection, and love for yourself, to clearly express your uniqueness and focus on your whole best being. You do not have to be obnoxious to prove your boldness, unless that's just in your innate personality. Most people believe that they must be confrontational to make their presence known, but That is not necessary for you. We have all heard that saying, meekness is great strength under control. You are good enough. You have nothing to prove. No more shrinking back, no more hiding. Do not let the voice of ignorance shut you up and have the final say about you. Speak up to amplify the best of you. Live your best life and be unapologetically you. Love, unapologetically Gray.